Hello students, my name is Dr. Lindsay Nesmo. I'll be your instructor for Human Anatomy and Physiology 2. Now I imagine that most of you are coming right out of Human Anatomy and Physiology 1, so you're familiar with the classroom and you're familiar with the setup of the course. This is a continuation of A&P 1, so you will see things that look pretty similar. You're going to have similar case studies, similar type discussions, and so forth. But regardless, I will run through a couple things with you in this first module just to get you settled in for spring quarter and hopefully set up a few expectations along the way. So first of all, on the right hand corner you'll see my contact information. The phone number that's listed here is my office phone number. I'm very rarely sitting at my desk. I'm usually in a classroom, or I'm at a different campus, or I'm teaching remotely, so you can certainly call that number, but if you do, I just ask that you leave a voicemail. I don't pick up the phone because I'm not there very often, but I do have voicemails forwarded to me wherever I am. So if you call, leave a voicemail, but a probably much easier and faster way to get a hold of me is through the course messages right here. So use the left-hand panel, use course messages to get to me. It's faster for me to get back to you because I teach several courses and I teach several sections. So when you use the course messages, I know exactly which section you're coming from and I know exactly who you are. So it's much faster for me to respond if you have questions that way. All right. On the left-hand side, you'll see the syllabus. Let's just take a look at a couple pieces here. All right. I know you want to know about grades, so let's take a look at that. The grades will follow very similar style to A&P 1 if you just took that course. So discussions, written assignments, those are the case studies that you do every other week. One midterm and one final exam, and then weekly quizzes. All of those add up to 485 points, and you need to get 73% of those points to pass the course. Now this is the lecture course. You are also going to be taking a lab course that correlates with this one. I may or may not be your lab instructor. If you're in Brooklyn Park, you'll have me. If you're at a different campus, you will have a different instructor. So even though these are two separate courses, you do have to pass both at the same time. So you have to pass both the lab and the lecture in spring quarter to pass and move on in your program. If you have questions about that, let me know. The other thing I want to point out in the syllabus is at the very end, the Rasmussen Academic Integrity Policy. Now, I know this is something that you have probably heard about before, but I need to point this out again because in your case studies, I've found in the past that students are very tempted to copy and paste information from online sources. I want you to know right up front that that is not okay. Even if you cite your sources, you cannot copy and paste word for word the information that you get from your source. You need to paraphrase, you need to think about this information and process it in your brain so I know that you're learning it. The two main arguments that I usually give to students regarding this topic are, one, if you copy and paste, I don't know that you know it. I can't say, well, I trust that this person understands this knowledge. Think of it this way. If you were going to get on an airplane and the pilot had just taken a book about how to fly an airplane and copied that into a Word document, would you trust him or her to fly the plane? I mean, I wouldn't, because that doesn't mean that he or she knows how to do that. So when you do that, or if a student takes words from another person and just puts them into a paper, that doesn't mean that you've learned it. So make sure that you are not copy and pasting. I can't say that enough. All right, I'll stop harping on that. That's boring. Let's go back to the interesting stuff in the course. Under Module 1, you'll see your first assignments. There we go. You have a discussion coming up. So blood donations, that's our first discussion. You need to have your first post in by Tuesday. So Tuesday this week and every week following, you need to have your post done by 11:59 at night. I will say this, for the first week, I know students are adding and dropping courses, and there might be a little bit of a lag time for your first discussion post, and that's okay. If it takes you till Wednesday, maybe even Thursday, not a big deal this first week. I know that things are usually kind of crazy during week 1. So don't worry about that. In the future, though, I will be very strict about due dates. It's important that we all stay on top of this class, because if we get behind, it's very hard to catch up. So your first discussion is Tuesday, reply by Saturday, and your Module 1 quiz is due on Sunday. One thing about the quizzes, and you've probably noticed this if you're a student who's returning, the instructions say that you'll be alerted when you've used half your time, when you've used 5 minutes, and then 1 and 30 seconds remaining. That doesn't always pop up for everyone, so don't count on that. It is a timed quiz, so you might want to use a cell phone or some other timer that's not part of your computer. Set that when you start the quiz, so set your 20-minute timer and count on that. Don't count on the quiz to actually remind you, because depending on which browser you use and what pop-up blockers you have on your computer, that doesn't always work. Alright, last thing, let's exit this preview. I want to show you the calendar. All of your due dates are on the calendar. Your calendar probably looks something like mine. On my calendar, it's this brownish color that's A&P. If you click on any topic, it'll give you a little bit more information about each one. Let's look at so Tuesday, here's your first discussion that's due, Module 1 discussion, blood donations. Make sure that everything's done by 11:59 on the day that it's posted. There are no live lectures for this course. There are many videos that are recorded and available for you to view in the lesson content folder, but there are no live lectures, so you will not be meeting with me every week online. But that being said, I'm always available for you if you need the help or if you have a question. Just shoot me an email, or of course you can call, but email is probably the faster way to get a hold of me. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be checking in every now and then, and I hope that you have a great start to your quarter. Thanks.